The year is 1461. 8 years have passed since the mighty city of Constantinople fell to the Ottomans, and the ancient Byzantine Empire seemed to have finally reached its end. Yet, on the distant shores of the Black Sea, tucked between towering mountains and the shimmering waters of the Pontus, one final fragment of Byzantium still clings to life: the Empire of Trebizond. For centuries, it survived through luck, diplomacy, and geography. But Mehmed II, now at the height of his power, sees it not as a kingdom, only as unfinished business, and he intends to finish it. Trebizond had long lived in the shadow of larger empires. It was founded in 1204, when Crusaders sacked Constantinople and splintered the Byzantine world into pieces. While the main empire struggled to survive, Trebizond thrived as a wealthy trading city. Merchants from Persia, Armenia, and the Caucasus enriched its markets, and the Komnenos dynasty ruled with a blend of Greek tradition and Eastern influence. Yet despite its proud heritage, Trebizond was small, isolated, and surrounded by rising Ottoman power. After the fall of Constantinople in 1453, Trebizond became a symbol, one last beacon of the world Mehmed II had conquered. As the Sultan expanded across Anatolia and the Balkans, Trebizond's independence grew increasingly fragile. Emperor David Komnenos hoped alliances could save his realm. He reached out to Georgia, to Venice, even to European kings, but the world was changing. No Christian power dared confront Mehmed II, whose reputation as the Conqueror spread like wildfire through Europe. Mehmed prepared carefully. He first secured the surrounding Turkish beyliks, ensuring no local ruler could offer Trebizond's support. He reinforced his Black Sea fleet, building new ships and fortifying key coastal positions. By the time his preparations were complete, the empire was surrounded on every side: land, sea, and diplomacy. In the summer of 1461, Mehmed launched his campaign. His army marched through the rugged mountains of northeastern Anatolia, crushing resistance city by city. Meanwhile, his fleet sailed along the coast, ensuring that Trebizond's harbor was sealed off. The people of the city watched anxiously as Ottoman banners appeared over the hills and anchored offshore. For centuries, Trebizond had defied fate, but now it stood utterly alone. The siege began with thunderous force. Ottoman cannons roared against the ancient walls, shaking the city with each blast. Trebizond's defenders fought desperately, but their numbers were too few, their weapons outdated, and supplies dwindling. Emperor David walked through the streets, urging calm, but fear spread quickly. Rumors of the fate of Constantinople terrified the people. Would Trebizond face the same destruction? As days turned to weeks, the city's hope faded. The walls cracked under bombardment, and the sea blockade cut off every possibility of rescue. Finally, Emperor David requested negotiations. He hoped to spare his citizens from slaughter, knowing full well that resistance meant annihilation. Mehmed II accepted his surrender. The emperor, along with his family and closest nobles, was exiled. The proud Komnenos dynasty, which had lasted more than 250 years, came to an end. Mehmed entered the city with solemn ceremony, not as a destroyer, but as a ruler claiming what he believed was rightfully his. He preserved much of the population, converting the great churches into mosques and integrating the city into the Ottoman administrative system. The fall of Trebizond marked the final extinction of the Byzantine world. No other Byzantine state, no fragment of its legacy remained independent. Mehmed had not only conquered Constantinople, he had wiped the last trace of its empire from the map. For many historians, this moment represents the true and final end of Byzantium, a civilization that had endured for more than 1,000 years. Yet Trebizond did not vanish from history. Under Ottoman rule, it remained a thriving port linking Europe and Asia. Its merchants continued to trade across the Black Sea, and its mountainous terrain gave the region a unique cultural character that lasted for centuries. For Mehmed II, the conquest of Trebizond was more than a military victory. It was symbolic. It solidified his image as the ruler who completed what previous Ottoman sultans had attempted for decades. With Trebizond subdued, he now commanded the entire Anatolian coastline, expanding his influence over the Black Sea and tightening his control over vital trade routes. The conquest also set the stage for his next ambitions. With the last Byzantine resistance eliminated, Mehmed turned his attention westward towards Venice, Hungary, and the complex politics of Europe. The wars that followed would test the empire's strength on land and sea, pushing the Ottomans into a new era of naval warfare, diplomacy, and territorial expansion. With Trebizond's fall, one empire ended, and Mehmed's greater ambitions began.